Happy New Year, everybody. This is Liberty, and I am here for my last entry for my 2023 reading journal. And I'm just doing my December reads. I was able to read 3 books for the month of December, even though I had a ton of things on my plate for the holiday season. But I wanted to get this video up so I can wrap up 2023 so I can finally make another reading journal for the new year. As you know, I've never been quite happy with this reading journal. This is my first reading journal ever, and I made a lot of mistakes in it, but I also learned a lot from it. So I'm glad that I have this, but I do have better ideas for the new year. So I'm just starting out with this ephemera book. It's one of my favorites, and I'm also using some of the supplies that I actually got for Christmas this year. I made an entire video of the things that I got for journaling supplies and bookish type presents that I got for Christmas, and I'll link that down below. I really like this ink set. These stamps, these letter stamps, I really like them a lot, but I find them to be very messy. Every time I use them, I get ink all over the things around me. I don't care if it gets on me, but I recently got some ink on my couch, and I just was not happy with that. So I found something else recently. It hasn't come in the mail yet, but I'm hoping that it'll work a little bit easier. I don't know, we'll see. So I'm just starting out with a December books cover sheet. So I wanted to go with this nice blue, icy blue glacier type of vibe. I'm really into this color lately. So yeah, I'm just starting out with a nice, pretty winter theme cover page. I really enjoy printing things from Pinterest, such as this quote from Ernest Hemingway, and I thought it would be perfect for the start of this cover because the first book that I read for the month of December was A Movable Feast. This book is so beautifully written, and if you are not familiar with the story, it is basically a memoir by Ernest Hemingway, and he chronicles his years as a young, struggling journalist and writer and spending time in Paris in the 1920s. And I just love how he describes friendships, food, drink, the streets of Paris. You can almost smell and hear the sounds while reading this book. It feels like you're walking through the streets of Paris with Ernest Hemingway. So here we have the cover page, and I recently got the beautiful rendition of this book, and I wanted to bring in the same colors of the book cover, and I just think this works very well together. So again, for Christmas, I got some of these book pages as ephemera. So if you are someone that likes to add maybe some book pages to your journals or your spreads, this is kind of perfect. You don't have to worry about destroying a book. And let me tell you something else. I love my new corner rounder or my corner cutter. My other one for some reason, it was destroying my pages. It wasn't really making a corner. And this one is absolutely perfect. It makes the perfect corner every time. And what I wanted to do was just to add some very basic, like brown, earthy tones to this next spread here. And I also went back on Pinterest. I needed to have this ship picture here. I love this. One of the books I read involved a shipwreck, so I thought it'd be kind of perfect. And then on this page, I wanted to add some natural elements with the mushroom and the fern, and I really like how this spread came out. So the second book that I read for December was Into the Wild, and this was a very popular movie many, many years ago, and I've always been very fascinated with this story. And if you're not familiar with it, it's about a young man. He decides to truly go off grid, and he calls himself Alexander Supertramp. And if you know the story, you'll understand why he calls himself Supertramp. But he basically walks to Alaska because he wants to live free in Alaska. And I've always been obsessed with this story, and the book was so good. So the third book and last book that I read for the month of December was called The Ocean Above Me. And this is a story about a shipwreck, and it goes through the story of a man's struggle because he is trapped inside of the ship in an air bubble that is sitting at the bottom of the ocean. And this book was absolutely amazing. I could not put it down. And it goes through what he had to do to try to survive. And he describes how the water is rising above him and how he was able to, you know, feed himself, get drinks for himself, and it's so good, and I could not put it down, and I highly, highly recommend this book. So I'm going back in and filling in my 50 book challenge here. I am 2 books shy of meeting my 50 book goal. That's okay because I couldn't read for the month of October because I was studying for my new job. But I'm not going to add the book titles like I did this year. I'm only going to add the numbers. So that's one little mistake that I made in this journal. Also, I'm going to clean up my bookshelf for next year. This is way too large. I added way too many books. I also did my book bingo wrong. The centerpiece should be like a free space, but that's okay. It's my first reading journal. I don't hate it. I don't. I do like it, but I'm just going to redesign it a little bit next year. One thing I won't change is printing out these book covers. I really like doing that. So yeah, overall, I'm really happy with my first book journal. And that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. And until next time, guys, cheers.